Welcome to the Murphree Network. This is our first broadcast, and we are excited to bring to you stories of visitations for October. This first series is meant to inspire. These are true stories given to us by people in our area. Sit back and enjoy the Murphree Network and Visitations. This first story comes from a young lady who went to school at the University of Kansas. These are her words, and this is her story. My story begins when I was in college at the University of Kansas. I was living with my mother to save money between my freshman and sophomore year in 2004. My grandmother had passed away just 6 months prior, and so Mom was happy to have me home for a while. The house we lived in was rural but still close to town. Rural enough that at night you could see the stars twinkle in the night sky. I always loved that about my Midwest home, and it was on one of those summer nights that I came home and entered through the mudroom. It was an older farmhouse where you could leave your work boots in the mudroom before going into the house. So while I didn't take off my shoes, I could shake off any dirt before going in. This night I walked into the mudroom that led into the gallery kitchen, a long, skinny room. I flipped on the lights and froze. All of the cabinet doors were standing wide open, every one of them. Needless to say, I freaked, and I immediately turned and left the house. I was sure my mom was not at home, yet I called her just to be sure. She answered the phone, and I asked her if she'd been home after work yet. She said no, she had stopped for dinner and drinks with friends. And then she asked why I was calling. I think she could hear the apprehension in my voice. I explained what had happened and what I'd seen in the house. She said okay, and then said, go to the landline in the house, it wasn't far from the door, and dial 911. But don't connect yet. Just hold it so that you can push that button and run if you need to. That way, the first responders will know where the call is coming from. Then, if you walk through the house, you can just hit that button. I had told her that I wanted to check the house. I started with the downstairs. I walked through and flipped on every light in the house, in every room. I closed the cabinet doors one by one and yelled, "Is there anyone else here?" No answer. Through the living room, the dining room, and nothing else was disturbed anywhere downstairs. Then I found myself at the bottom of the stairs looking up. I took a big breath before heading upstairs to the bedrooms and the other bathroom and a small living area. There was nowhere to run if I found someone up there. But this was our house, and so up the stairs I went. I admit I was terribly nervous and scared. At the top of the stairs there were 2 bedrooms and a bathroom on the right, the secondary living room area with a couple of pieces of furniture, and 1 bedroom on the left. I checked the rooms on the right first. Nothing. And now I was even more nervous because I only had a couple more rooms left, and if someone was there, that's where they would be. I took 2 steps into the living area, and that's when I felt her. I felt my grandmother. I knew it was her because of the distinctive aroma of oil of Olay facial moisturizer that permeated the air around me, and that was her signature. When she was alive, any time she hugged you, you smelled that aroma, and your clothes retained that same smell for some time afterwards. Accompanying that lovely fragrance was this warm pocket of air around me, surrounding me as if she were hugging me. I spoke out loud, "Grandma, is that you?" I felt the entire energy of the room shift. My energy, too, so anxious just a moment ago, changed in an instant. The room and I were filled with peace and calm. It was all over the entire room. Every muscle in my body relaxed, and I knew it was her. And it came to me. Every time any of us ever visited her when she was alive, she was in the kitchen. That was her space. That's where she dwelt. That's where she greeted and embraced her loved ones. And it made sense that she was trying to say hello and what are we making today by stopping through the kitchen and opening the cabinets. I was happy in that moment, and I smiled. She didn't stay long, and I went back downstairs, and Mom came home pretty quickly after I made it to the first floor. I told her what had happened. Mom said, "What?" and stepped back from our hug, and I told her the details, and she cried. Happy tears, though. It was a lovely moment. Mom said, "I'm so happy that she came to visit you." And I absolutely concur. Thanks for joining us for our first installment of Visitations on the Murphree Network. If you have a story that you'd like to share, please email themurphreenetwork@gmail.com. All 3 words together, themurphreenetwork@gmail.com. Happy October!